9 days ago, the Miami Heat's own YouTube channel posted a live stream. The title read, LeBron James Introductory Press Conference. Scheduled date, July 27th. Within minutes, screenshots were everywhere. Reporters picked it up. Fans started making highlight reels for a reunion that hadn't even happened yet. And the strangest part, nobody at the Heat denied it right away. A team spokesperson eventually told ESPN's Shams Charania that their social media department was, quote, preparing for the possibility of a LeBron signing and posted the link by mistake. Fans didn't buy it, because here's the thing. You don't accidentally title a live stream introductory press conference unless somewhere, some department in that building genuinely believed it was happening. So let's rewind and actually understand how deep this rumor went, because it didn't start with the leak. It started days earlier when Pat Riley stood at a podium introducing Giannis Antetokounmpo to South Beach and casually dropped a line about landing a second plane. Everyone in that room connected the dots instantly. Giannis and LeBron together in Miami. We covered that angle ourselves. The basketball world spent an entire week building a narrative brick by brick. Riley's comment, then the leak, then radio silence from LeBron's camp. Rich Paul, his agent, told reporters the same week that he genuinely didn't know when a decision was coming. Read that combination again, a leaked introductory press conference and an agent saying there's no update. One of those things was lying, and it turned out to be the leak.
Breaking news in here on First Take. According to Shams, LeBron James has made his decision. He is headed to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year veteran minimum $8 million deal. His agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN.
LeBron James answered the question himself. Not through a leaked webpage, not through a mistake his own team had to clean up. He posted directly, calling this his last decision, a deliberate callback to 2010's infamous hour-long television special that basically invented the modern free agency circus. This time there was no arena, no bracket, no Jim Gray sitting across from him. Just a statement. And the statement was this. LeBron James signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, 2 years, $8 million. Let that number actually sit with you for a second, because it's the most revealing detail in this entire story. $8 million for 2 years is role player money in today's NBA. Guys who come off the bench for 20 minutes a night signed bigger deals than this last summer. The NBA's all-time leading scorer, a 4-time champion, a guy who multiple teams were reportedly still willing to build around, chose to take a fraction of what he could have commanded elsewhere. That's not a business decision. That's a legacy decision. And in his own statement, LeBron said he'd seriously considered retirement before landing on this. One more run in a city that's never actually had a true super team era, for a fan base he said he was excited to, quote, energize. Now here's where this story stops being just about LeBron and starts being personal if you've been watching this channel from the beginning. LeBron James is now teammates with Jaylen Brown. The same Jaylen Brown this channel built its early audience around. His trade out of Boston, the media firestorm that followed him, and Kevin Durant and Steve Nash sitting down and breaking apart exactly what happens when a super team collapses from the inside. Back when Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden were supposed to run through the entire Eastern Conference in Brooklyn, and instead imploded in real time. Jaylen Brown is now the second star on a roster that LeBron James just chose, out of every possible option to join. 2 players who were never supposed to share a locker room, brought together by one of the strangest free agency periods in recent memory. And if you remember what we said covering that Brooklyn story, that talent alone doesn't guarantee anything, that fit and health and organizational stability matter just as much as star power, that same experiment is running again. Different city, different names, same fundamental question. Does putting 2 enormous personalities and 2 ball-dominant offensive engines on one roster actually produce a championship? Or does it produce another Brooklyn? Let's actually break down whether this makes basketball sense. Separate from the headline, LeBron turns 41 in December. Taking a below-market deal late in a Hall of Fame career isn't new. We've seen legends do this before. Tim Duncan restructured his own contracts in San Antonio to keep the roster flexible around him. Dirk Nowitzki took steep discounts in his final Dallas seasons because winning mattered more than maximizing every dollar. LeBron following that pattern isn't shocking on its own. What's different here is the timeline and the roster he's walking into. Philadelphia, on paper, instantly becomes a contender the moment you add a former MVP caliber talent next to Jaylen Brown. But this front office has its own recent history worth remembering. The Ben Simmons saga, the James Harden trade demand drama, a franchise that's developed a reputation, fair or not, for finding new ways to snap a promising roster in half. Adding LeBron doesn't erase that history. It just raises the stakes on whether this front office has actually learned anything from it. There's also the physical reality nobody can ignore. A 41-year-old body, even one as meticulously maintained as LeBron's, is not the same asset across an 82-game season as it is in a highlight package. The real test isn't whether he can still take over a fourth quarter in November. It's whether he's still doing it in May in a 7-game series against teams that are specifically built younger, deeper, and fresher for exactly that kind of postseason grind. So here's what we're actually watching as this story develops. First, how aggressive is Philadelphia's front office from here? Do they surround these two with shooting, size, actual two-way depth, or do they run it back with the same pieces that haven't worked before? Second, how the on-court fit actually looks in real minutes, not just a highlight reel from summer workouts. Two players used to controlling an offense have to figure out spacing, shot distribution, and who takes the last shot when it matters. Third, and honestly the most fascinating subplot in the entire story, how Miami handles this publicly after their own social media account all but confirmed a signing that never happened. That's not a small embarrassment for a franchise that has spent over a decade building a reputation for total control over its own image. We'll be tracking every part of this as the season builds. If you haven't seen the full Jaylen Brown story yet, why he actually left Boston and what happened the last time he was the second star on a team built to be a super team, that video is linked right here, and at this point it's basically required viewing before this new chapter even tips off. Subscribe, because this story is just getting started, and we're not going anywhere.